Semen retention, igniting your virility as a man. This is a topic that has come to me from a variety of different sources through a couple of comments that people have left on other videos, as well as the emails that I've been getting recently as well. And one of the emails that I got that really moved me in a certain kind of way, even though it wasn't particularly anything too out of the ordinary, this man, he's a young man, 23-year-old, and he has been struggling a lot about, this is just his words here, struggling about becoming a high-value man who lives the player lifestyle. And he recommended also to make a video on the topic just to see if there was any possibility to help more men understand this and what exactly a high-value man is. Well, first of all, a high-value man, I don't really like that term anyway. I don't really like it, so I think this is going to be something that has to be addressed as well. What I would prefer the term is godly man. Are you a godly man or a godlike man? And this goes the same for men and women. Are you a godly woman or are you a godlike woman? Because we are not God. We're not omnipotent, we're not omnipresent, but we can be immortal through our soul by the things that we do, the actions that we accomplish, the legacy that we leave behind. And so I want to address a few things that he mentioned here. And usually I don't like to do videos like this because I don't think, I'm not a jukebox. Here, do this video, do that video. I'm not that kind of person, but because of the topic, I think it was very important. And then I also had another comment from an older gentleman who isn't even that old, but just, considering his verbiage and the way that he spoke in his comments, he's early 40s, and how semen retention just kind of restarted his sex drive in some way. And there were other comments about semen retention where people were in their early 40s talking about this as well. So getting into the topic at a more deeper level. When bad things happen, it motivates us, right? To the people that are actually aware of the self. The bad things that happen in our lives motivates us. Likewise, if you are someone without a lot of trauma in your life, especially as a man, not as a woman, as a man, you absolutely must put yourself through hell. If you've been too comfortable your whole life, you're going to have to either do extremely hard workouts or work hard and be ambitious in other realms of your life. And the reason that I say that, especially with incongruence with semen retention, is that it will magnify your connection to the Most High. In doing so, you will receive more spiritual downloads, so to speak, and you will become the man that has a chip on his shoulder. And I think that's a good thing. That's a necessary thing as a man nowadays. A lot of men lack virility. Now, what exactly is virility? Virility is your overall masculine presence, or at least it can be described as your overall masculine presence, your ambition, your sex drive, all of those things combined. It's essentially a fancy term for your life force or your manliness, so to speak. So you're going to have to put yourself through hard times, and you're going to have to develop the ability to know what it's like to have a chip on your shoulder, to have something to prove, not to anybody else, but to you and God. That's what this is about. And so you focus on the most important aspects of your existence. You continue to focus on the self. You continue to focus on your spiritual awareness. You continue to focus on understanding that the ego is not your enemy. It is actually a friend. It is something that, the Buddhists call it the monkey mind. And you make friends with the monkey mind. That's exactly the kind of mindset you need to have. And as a man, you actually get to earn your ego, so to speak. I've never met, think of some character like James Bond. Now, of course, this is a fictional character. I'm not telling you that you should be like James Bond, because even though that a lot of the society considers James Bond to be a high-value man, I don't necessarily think James Bond as a character is a godly man. But he's still badass. So, you got to give credit where it's due sometimes. And, this is just a fictional character, but there's still something so captivating about this storyline. There's still something so... It touches on the impoverishment of our soul in some way as men. And it touches on the poverty of our incompetence in certain areas of our life. And so it motivates us to want to be like him in some way, right? Like we want to be able to fly jets or planes or, beat the world bad guy, like the bad guy that's trying to destroy the world. We want to be, as a man, the hero. And this is where you need to also develop your hero archetype. And on semen retention, you're going to naturally do that. You are going to get so much more from semen retention than you will ever get from a class, from a dating coach, from... I've heard some crazy stuff that people will go to, the lengths that people will go to just get their masculinity or raise their masculinity up. It's insane. And I just don't understand it personally. I've always been the kind of person that likes to learn on my own. But I know that it's important to have people around you or people that you can admire or look up to. But that's what I think books are for a lot of the most part. Like, books are a portal to another person's thoughts. And as Alan Watts said, you say what's in a book, something that cannot be said. So books are a way to not only engage your creativity and your imagination, but it's also a way to enhance your focus, to enhance your competence as a reader, and it's as an orator as well. That's actually one of my biggest hurdles, even doing YouTube videos. I'm a much better writer than I am an orator. However, when I do orate, and when I am orating, I guess you could say, I just let whatever comes to mind flow, and I just let the spirit move me. But going into further with the relationship that you have with the ego on this journey, you're going to go through parts in your semen retention journey where you are either edging or getting over PMO. And for anybody that does not know what edging or PMO is, edging is basically either trying to play with yourself, but not to the point to where you actually release your energy, or you're just checking out women a lot, or you are just trying to see if women are checking you out, and you're not letting things happen naturally, because it is natural to like the attention of women. When a woman smiles at you, there's something that happens in your mind, right? Like there's some kind of dopamine hit that you do get, and that's what really this is all about, is understanding that you either have a deficiency of feminine energy in your life, or you're addicted to the prospect of feminine energy. And especially when you're edging or doing PMO. So PMO is corn, which I'm not going to say the actual word just because of the algorithm, but corn, masturbation, and etc. So anything that you're doing there is not good. Not good. And the reason that it's not good, but I'm not going to say that you can't do it, because if you keep if you beat yourself up after doing these things, after edging or PMO, then you're going to make your relationship with your ego even worse, because your ego is your conscious identity. It's not your unconscious identity. It's your conscious identity of what you believe to be true about you. But it's also what you believe to be true about what you need, or what you believe to be true about what you want. But the ego does not always cooperate with your true unconscious needs or wants. And so that's why people sometimes get into sabotage, self-sabotaging behavior, or they just simply miscomprehend certain aspects of life, and they just don't think ahead logically. They're stuck in what they believe to be what they want, but it's not really what they want at the archaic primal level. But one thing that's really true is, because you're going to have to discipline your own ego, and you do that by understanding that you are an organism. You are living as a human biological organism, and you recognize that there's something deeper within you that is divine and that is of more worth and more light than any kind of lustful desire, or any kind of gluttonous desire, or prideful, or any kind of sinful behavior. And so you'll be able to read energy more than words when you are associating with people. What do I mean by that? It's almost like you are just able to see things with a reality scope. You just see things with the reality scope of your mind, and you can just see things for what they really are, and what the person's true intentions are behind their actions. And you know when to steer away from certain people, and you know when to stand your ground, and you know when to just move in accordance and maneuver in accordance to what's best for you. But you have to remind yourself also on the semen retention journey, when you do start to have those temptations, because everybody does, we will not stop having temptations until the day we die, biologically. And so you have to remind yourself of the shit that you've gone through to get to where you are now, so that you can remind yourself also of who you are and who you do not want to be anymore. So you'll realize also that women, so going back to the email, I know that was kind of a long background, but going back to this first email that I talked about, and also integrating why age doesn't really play a factor in this, it's that whenever you're retaining your essence, you are retaining the power to create life. What exactly does that entail? Well, obviously your sperm can produce another human being, potentially, right? Well, what would happen if you hold that in? If you actually have the discipline to control your sexual impulse, but to accept it and not repress it, what would happen then? Maybe you might create a whole new version of yourself. And that's why no matter what age, you will regain and reignite that virility, because you're think about it like this. There's the self-preservation is the lowest, most archaic primal form of biological needs. Next is the sexual impulse. Think about that for a second. So those are the two deepest desires. And there's actually, I've mentioned this in another video a while back, but I'll mention it here one more time. There's a tribe that was in either Thailand or in Indonesia, somewhere like that, where they actually viewed the god of death and the god of sex as the same god, not the same person, the same god. And the same god of sex is also the god of death. So what exactly does that mean? It means when you have full control of your sexual impulse, you also have the control and ability to live and let go of what needs to die. That's a powerful thing to have. And so your semen will basically be recycling through your body. Your skin will get better. Your hair will just start to grow more naturally and more thicker. Like, my hair was already pretty thick and my beard was already pretty thick before I started semen retention, but holy cow, after that, like, I swear the hair follicles have grown at least 30%. I don't know. I don't know. That's just what it seems to me. It's pretty wild. And I've been on this journey for almost a year and 2 months now. And so definitely a monk mode for sure. But you'll also realize, so with the email and the player lifestyle and the high value man, you'll realize that the women that you once wanted in that player lifestyle mentality, that high value man, quote unquote, mentality of getting all the women that you could possibly get, those same women, you'll realize, are just wanting to take your life force. And you'll start attracting smart women. Now, what exactly do I mean by smart women? Well, smart women know what men want. And smart women know that it's important to protect their innocence. They do not destroy their innocence. And so you'll start to notice the smart women from the quote-unquote baddies or boss girls way easier. Way, way easier. Like from the get-go. You'll be like, yep, nope, that's a 304. That's a 304. And if you don't know what a 304 is, just type in 304 in a calculator and switch it around. And look at it upside down and you'll know what a 304 is. But you'll start to attract much better women into your life and just much better people in general as well. And like Garth Brooks says, some prayers that are unanswered anyway, are God's greatest gifts. He has a song that has lyrics like that, I think. But smart women do care about their innocence and they don't want to destroy that because they understand that purity is important for what a man wants. And especially if you want to be a godly man, then you understand that a pure, virtuous woman is very important in your life. Because a woman that is not pure and that is not virtuous is going to be a headache. And if you don't believe me, well, then you have not experienced the torture mentally and the mental gymnastics that a woman can put you through. There's a song by the Eagles, I think, and it says something like, I found out a long time ago what a woman can do to your soul. Yeah. Women, like, this is something you can also think about as well, is what about women makes you so attracted to them? Why is beauty so attractive? Why do we have this innate desire for beauty as men? Like, what's that all about? Really? What is that all about? That seems so strange. And yet it's so paramount to our existence. When you really start to think about it and philosophize, you guys know what I'm saying. See the orator thing. If you guys understand that from a philosophical perspective, then you'll start to really get at the deeper roots of semen retention. And semen retention is about self-realization at the end of the day. It's not about getting women and, I don't just subscribe to the high value man thing. And the only reason I put it in this title was so that people can get attracted to the channel with the algorithm. Because this is a message that, like the email said, like this guy in the email said, like this is a video that is probably going to be important for many men out there and many women that are interested in this topic as well and what exactly semen retention is. So with that being said, if anybody wants to schedule a consultation with me, please send me a link in the email below. And I also really appreciate all the donations that people have given me and provided me recently. I praise the Most High for that. And I just want to thank you guys for supporting this channel and your contributions. Liking, subscribing, or commenting is one of the other best ways to support this channel at this time. So if you support content like this, that's what you can do. In the meantime, peace be with you.